If I could go back and tell the Emily that first started raising pigs something, it would probably be to take it one day at a time. You know, agriculture, farming itself is overwhelming, let alone being a young woman in agriculture. You know, some hurdles are going to be more difficult to jump across. And you know what, just making sure to take every task, every hurdle one day at a time, and that life does go on. You know, I think that's probably about the best advice that I could give to a younger self.
When we met, we both wanted to come back here and farm, or not necessarily come back here. I think she'd prefer to be in some place with more trees than north central Kansas. But we wanted to farm, and my parents had an established farming operation. Her parents do too. I wanted to raise livestock. My parents had, and I still had livestock here, so we ended up choosing to move back here. How this really started was, my parents' crop farms aren't really big enough to support two families full time. So we had to kind of find a way to dive off on our own venture and see if we could find something that could support us full time. It's not yet. I work off the farm full time. She's on the farm full time, and we're hopefully transitioning into that sometime in the future of both being here. But in high school, we'd landed on the niche marketing business or not high school, in college, landed on niche marketing.
You can tell they have indoor and outdoor access since they're enjoying the mud today. I would say my perfect day on the farm would be about 50 degrees. The pigs love it at that weather, and they just seem to be a little bit calmer. And 50 degrees, nothing is broken, everything has feed, and I can just enjoy the pigs. Because there's a lot of times that there's a million things going on and you don't really get to enjoy the pigs. And every once in a while there's that day where it's just the weather is nice and the pigs are calm, and everything seems to be done in its place, and you just get to enjoy the pigs. So one thing that I really like to point out whenever we have folks visit our farm is that even though we really enjoy what we're doing and that it's unique and we like raising pigs outside most of the time, is that, you know, not everybody can do it this way, and sometimes it really isn't sustainable to feed the world in the way that we're raising our pigs. So, you know, there's got to be a little bit of everybody on the market. You know, there's some folks like us that are small and can raise their pigs outside, but then again, there also has to be those bigger guys out there that can raise a lot of pigs to feed a lot of people. You know, and I take pride in the fact that most people can go to the grocery store and get pork chops for, you know, 99 cents a pound when they're on sale. And I really am proud to be part of an industry where we can provide safe and cheap and nutritious pork for the world. We really do, folks in America, they do feed the world with our pork. It really happens. Okay, so this is our sow barn. So these are all the ladies that are expecting to have pigs soon, or piglets soon.
So we have a really good relationship with our extension, K-State Extension here in Kansas. When we have issues that we can't answer, the Extension Service is our direct link to people that do know the answers. And what I got told as a young child, we have a really phenomenal staff here in the Post Rock District. I got told by several of the Extension agents if they didn't know an answer, they knew somebody who did and they would get it for us. And to me, that's a super advantage to anybody who's willing to use them. to answer questions for you, whether it's health related, feed related, even design related as we were building the farm. If there's things that I was concerned about, needed to know, the extension's there and we use them for that.
Yeah, I would say that we have a great relationship and that extension is just really so vital, especially when you kind of feel like you're out here in the middle of nowhere, having those people that we can go to and ask questions. Like just in the last 6 months, we had some of our grain tested to make sure that the protein levels were okay and that there weren't any toxins or whatever in the grain. And though having those connections that we can just call up and say, hey, we want to do this, and they say, great, let me get you a sample bag, and then we'll send it off and get it all done, and we'll get you the results. And it feels great to be able to just call up one person and be able to make that connection immediately and not have to handle all of the nonsense that can sometimes come with it. And the knowledge is right there, and if they don't know it, they'll find somebody that does. And it's great to just have that connection and be able to get answers.
If I was to be able to travel in time and go back and tell myself, a younger self, what to do differently, how to go about it, I would just remind myself to not be afraid to take chances. And that's, farming is a game of chance, really. It's gambling to a lot of people with as many factors that are into it, as far as weather and pigs' attitudes some days. And, we wouldn't be where we're at without taking chances and being calculated with those at the same time. But, if we were conservative and just wanted to raise corn and soybeans for the rest of our life, this wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have kind of like, I guess, the entrepreneurial spirit behind it to try and make something of our own, to go out, kind of pave a new road in our area. There's not a lot of things other than like, hey, pay attention on day 126, because that water's going to break and the whole farm's going to be, flowing with water everywhere. But it is what it is, and I just tell myself to stick with it, because at the end there's maybe not a rainbow, but it's working.